This is Money Talk Radio and the Ellis Martin Report. Join me for a conversation with Mark Fedosiewich, President and CEO of Vior Inc., trading as VIO on the TSX Venture Exchange and in the U.S. on the OTCQB as VIORF. Vior is a junior mining exploration company based in Quebec, Canada, and benefits from a long history of exploration success for more than 35 years. The company's value proposition is based on the following factors: the Flagship district-scale Belleterre gold project, exposure to other potential discoveries, including district-scale gold, nickel, and other critical minerals in Quebec. Highly trained management with strong leadership and a proven track record, strong project partners, financial and technical, and a hybrid strategy of exploring and investing. Mr. Fedosiewich is an Honours Bachelor of Commerce graduate who has been involved in the investment industry for over 30 years in a number of senior advisory positions with several prominent investment firms, most recently as first vice president at CIBC Wood Gundy. He has established over his successful career an extensive network across North America of mining executives, experienced high net worth junior resource investors, and prominent junior resource portfolio managers. Mark, welcome to the program. It's great to visit with you today.
Thank you, Ellis, and great to be here with you.
You've got a very large footprint in Quebec, Canada, where I met you actually. Let's talk about the Belleterre Gold Project, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. As you may or may not be aware, we're a Quebec-based hybrid junior explorer with strong fundamentals and a really focused strategy. I use the word hybrid because we are rapidly advancing some of our projects 100% on our own, and we have a bit of a project generator model for the rest of our projects where we're looking for good healed partners to advance them, keep a piece of the action for our shareholders. So clearly the focus here is on our flagship Belleterre Gold project that we own 100%. It includes a past producing high-grade gold mine called the Belleterre Gold Mine that produced over 750,000 ounces of gold at an average rate of 10.7 grams per ton. This was produced back from the mid-30s to the late 1950s. What happened over the ensuing 60 years was the region was relatively underexplored, underdeveloped. We found an opportunity 4 years ago, my partner and I, to consolidate this region that had been neglected, really. And we entertained the possibility of consolidating an entire greenstone belt. So we proceeded to do about 10 different transactions. We now control over 90% of the Belleterre greenstone belt. It's a highly endowed region that includes about a 12-kilometer long brownfield footprint. There's significant and consistent distribution of gold throughout. On surface, we have grades up to 275 grams per ton. So literally, the whole brownfield region is littered with gold at surface consistently and throughout. Been sporadic exploration there over the last 50, 60 years, but it's been very piecemeal. The ownership of the greenstone belt has been scattered here and there. Very little exploration done at the boundaries of various claim rights and property ownership rights. So now that we control literally over 90% of the greenstone belt, we've adopted a really holistic approach and systematic approach to exploring it. We've just completed 3 years of heavy lifting, but really the market does not reward you for. So compilation, geophysics, geochemistry, reinterpretation of the lithostructural model, and a host of other ground activities. We completed that late last year, met with one of our significant shareholders and supporters, Osisko Mining, who's recently been the subject of a buyout for $2.16 billion by Gold Fields. They've supported us along the way, and they agreed with us late last year after coming on the property that we were ready to embark on an ambitious drill program. We concluded that let's start with a 60,000 meter drill program. In order to do that, we need to raise about $20 million. They decided that they would back us as a lead order in a potential financing. And lo and behold, early this year, we were able to complete a really transformational financing of $21.83 million on a market capitalization of about $14 million only. A lot of people were doubters and didn't believe we'd cross the finish line, but lo and behold, we raised the money and we are now in the midst of our drilling program.
So many places for me to go here, Mark. First of all, with that kind of grade and a lot of visible gold, I'm assuming, is surfaced throughout your land package, is there some sort of way to, and this is just me here and speculating, is there some sort of way to go into limited production construction to fund? And then another question is, with that much land, are you going to project generate some of that away, or are you going to keep it all for yourself? And how do you possibly explore all of that?
So just an answer to your question, Ellis, we control the land package of about 350 square kilometers. Obviously, you're in the U.S. That would encompass about 225 square miles. Just a quick calculation. It is a huge land package. We decided to consolidate in this fashion because we wanted the ability to attract a major producer down the road should we have success. And any potential acquirer wants to ensure that you control the lion's share of a project or district scale project. So that's why we adopted this approach. Now, in terms of us exploring it systematically, obviously we're starting with the low-hanging fruit. We're starting the bulk of our drilling in what we call the old mine trend. It's about a 6 to 7 kilometer long area that has gold throughout at surface, high-grade gold for that matter. It encompasses the former past producing high-grade Belleterre gold mine as well. We know that there's gold remaining underground in the mine. Back when they were producing, they were looking for a grade of 1 to 2 ounces, typically. Old school mining, follow high grade veins only. We don't mine that way anymore. So there's still gold there. We hope to prove up as much of that gold as possible, but we're looking for a much bigger footprint. We are looking for multi-million ounce potential here, and we are looking to replicate the footprint. We call it 750,000 ounces of gold, high grade gold at the old mine per 250 vertical meters of depth in drilling.
Would it be safe to say that Goldfields is the potential M&A candidate to take you out down the road? Or
I think Goldfield is pleased to acquire. It's actually under the umbrella of Winfield Mining Group, Inc., which is 100% owned by Goldfields. It's effectively their Quebec arm and part of their global diversification endeavors. Given that they're developing a potential world-class mine in terms of the Windfall deposit right now in Quebec, I would believe that they'd love to have a second potential gold mine in Quebec down the road once Windfall is in production. I can't speculate on their behalf, but my understanding is they're happy with their position in Vior right now. There could be other potential suitors as well should we have success.
what are you going to be doing with Skyfall and that gold, nickel, copper deposit? Is that going to stay under your umbrella, or could it be spun out?
Obviously, as a little junior, we can't be all things to all people. We have a limited amount of capital, limited amount of human resource capital as well. We've adopted this sort of hybrid approach. That's part of our prospect generator side of the business. We have a great partner in SOQUEM. They're an exploration arm of the Quebec government. We structured a deal with them a little under 2 years ago, whereby they would acquire a 50% interest in this project by making cash payments to us and expending $2.5 million over 2 years. Once that's completed, we fully expect that to be completed early next year. We'll form a 50-50 joint partnership and move forward with that ownership combined. We do have interest from several majors on that project. Unfortunately, the project was very greenfield. So for the likes of a major, I'm just throwing names out here, but the BHP, Glencores of the world, who are big nickel producers, to get involved in a project at that early stage is rather difficult. So we're moving it forward, trying to create value with SOQUEM, which our ultimate goal would be jointly to hand it off, create value with a major of the likes.
Now, you mentioned SOQUEM and the Quebec government, the provincial government in Quebec, one of the most generous governments in the world with regard to our sector, the mining sector. You've worked deals all over Canada. Let's talk about your background and why you landed in Quebec.
I'm based in Ottawa, Canada, literally a stone's throw from Quebec. I do have a summer cottage in Quebec. I know the landscape very well. I am fully bilingual as well. Half of my heritage is French-Canadian, so I understand the culture. Over my years prior to this career, I was in the investment business for 30 years. I did develop a network across Canada with a number of mining executives in Quebec. I understood the advantage there, particularly from a tax point of view, a money-raising point of view, and a government incentive point of view. Clearly, I believe it's one of the best jurisdictions globally to explore for minerals with the support of the Quebec government. It's well endowed with a number of commodities, as you no doubt know, Ellis. I think it's the second biggest gold producing province in Canada. Canada, one of the biggest for nickel and many other commodities. There's a big lithium endowment there as well. Clearly, it's world recognized. I don't know what the exact ranking by the Fraser Institute is, but it's certainly top 5 right now.
I believe you're about 4,000 meters into a 60,000 meter drill program. What's happening over the next 6 months to a year?
So that's the exciting part of our story here right now. We began our drill program about 5 weeks ago. We are about 6,000 meters into it as we speak. We have probably the equivalent of 12 to 15 holes sent to the laboratories over the last couple of weeks. We expect first batches of assay results perhaps in about 10 days or thereabouts. And then we'll probably be releasing the first set of results in an 8 to 10 hole grouping. The first 12 to 15 holes were rather shallow. They were all around the old Belleterre gold mine. We're taking a very systematic approach to our drill program, starting shallow and then moving deeper, going from the known to the unknown. In Quebec, a few weeks ago, it was hunting season, so we did have to relocate for 2.5 weeks, both of our drills to another area of the brownfield segment of the Belleterre mine trend. We just completed some very deep holes, upwards of 1,300 meters. We do have 60,000 meters planned. That encompasses about 125 drill holes, ranging in length anywhere from 100 meters to probably 1,400 meters, and vertical depth probably 80 meters to anywhere to about 1,100 meters in depth, vertical depth.
We know the commodities themselves are going through the roof. Gold's at about $2,700 US. Speculate a little bit. Pull out your crystal ball and tell us what you think is going to happen with the equities.
As everybody is questioning, the equities are clearly lagging the bullion price, as evidenced by the gold miners to gold ratio, which hit a 100-year low several months ago. I do believe there will be a rapid catch-up phase. I think that's about to occur over the next several months, and we could see a significant catch-up in the miners, particularly the junior explorers in the food chain over the next many months.
So I think with your stock at near 22 cents Canadian today, there is potentially a great deal of room for upside as investors scurry to find a basket of opportunities in the gold space.
I would tend to agree with you. I don't want to speculate on upside and endowment at Belleterre, but we are clearly assembled a project with multi-million ounce potential. At the end of the day, Mother Nature will dictate. We know there's gold remaining around the old mine and at several other deposits along the old Belleterre mine trend. I think with our significant 60,000 meter drill program, we will be able to prove that there is a huge gold endowment there. 60,000 meters is just the beginning. I believe once we show success to the market, we will continue that drill program into potentially several 100,000 meters over the coming year or two. 4 years of hard work at Belleterre. We're at the point where we could potentially have a really great story. You don't want to overhype it. I'd rather underpromise, overdeliver, but it's the beginning here, and we're looking forward to hopefully some success here. And we need to prove that there's ounces and good results first. That's where Mother Nature comes in, but we've hit some really nice sulfide mineralization intersections on the first 15 holes. There's 7-8 holes of 8 to 16.5 meters. How are they going to run? The assay labs will tell us. We do have VG in 5 or 6 of the holes. So we know there's gold. We're going to show some gold values, but the market would love to see 10 grams over 10 meters in a perfect world or better. That would be a game changer for sure. Let's hope and pray.
Mark, I want to thank you for joining us today on the program. I look forward to our next conversation with some more good news in the future. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Ellis, and all the best.
I've been speaking with Mark Fedosiewich, President and CEO of Vior Inc., trading as VIO on the TSX Venture Exchange and in the U.S. on the OTCQB as VIORF. The company's website is vior.ca. Vior is spelled V-I-O-R. For the Ellis Martin Report and Money Talk Radio, I'm Ellis Martin.
Would you like to be one of the first to see who we are following? Subscribe to our audio newsletter. It's free. EllisMartinReport.com.